Here's my old Scott lawnmower. Had it for 10 years. Back then in a garage sale, bought it for 25 bucks. So it's been a good lawnmower for all these years. And it always starts on my first pull. But today, as you can see, that pump it 3 times. It wants to start, but it doesn't. It doesn't keep on going, and sometimes I can get it running for like 5 seconds, then it dies out. So I'm going to see what we can do to fix it. So let's say you have good gas, you replace your air filter, you replace your spark plugs. Let's say if everything is good, so what should you check next? The next thing you need to check is your carburetor. Now, for those who don't know what is a carburetor or where it's at, it's right next to your gas tank. If you look at your gas tank, this is the gas tank, and then you can see a hose that goes all the way down to the carburetor. So that is a carburetor. It's also where you prime your gas. So that right there is your carburetor, and that's the last thing you want to check to see what's going on. Most carburetors are covered up in a bunch of stuff, so I'm going to take out just a couple of plastics around it. So usually carburetor is always usually connected where the air filter is. Here's air filter. Here's where you prime it. Okay, so here's a gasket between the intake of the air, and you can see it's all cracked. A piece came off and other pieces there, so that's not good. I'm going to have to replace that gasket right there. Take off the linkage. Usually there's 2 connections, one at the bottom and one at the top. So let's take off the spring at the top. So the spring comes off, and then the linkage usually can come off quite easy at the bottom. And if it doesn't, so I'm having a little bit of trouble, so it doesn't, so that's okay. We'll just leave it there for now. So now the whole carburetor comes off. Just get this linkage loose. Well, okay, there we go. Now that's loose. Okay. So next thing I want to do is I want to remove the gas line right here, and when I pull this out, a lot of gasoline is going to come out, so I'm just going to take something to plug it for now. So here we go. I'll plug it for now. So here's the carburetor. If the lawnmower doesn't start up most of the time, it's either water is mixed in the gas tank from leaving the lawnmower out in the elements, or you have a gunked up dirty carburetor. Well, the following video that you see below here shows how I rebuilt this carburetor. You can click on the video and it will go to another YouTube video. But if you don't have time to rebuild the carburetor, there's actually a fast trick to make the lawnmower run right away. So again, either you have water in the tank or you have a dirty carburetor. Well, first of all, you can drain the carburetor bowl by removing the bowl nuts, as I'll show you in a second. so that will clear any water that got collected in the carburetor bowl. The second thing you want to do is 90% of the time the jet at the nut, bowl nut, gets clogged. If you have a dirty carburetor, then that's the highest likelihood that that would get clogged. So again, I'll show you how I unclogged it in this video. So here's the jet. As you can see that there's 1, 2, and 3 holes, and you want to clear it out to make sure that nothing is clogging it. So I already saw, like, I just pushed it and I have some little stuff came out already. You want to make sure that the top is clean too. So you stab the top and then push to the side to clear out stuff. So one more thing you want to do is you want to take carburetor cleaner. Just want to spray the jets real quick. Make sure it's all clean. Alright, sure it's all clear. And it's also a good opportunity to even look at rebuilding your carburetor if you want to, or checking the float inside of it. You can pop this off. But there's a lot of other videos out there that can show you how to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and connect this back on here. So now I'm just going to put everything back together again. First, here's the gasket, and I'm going to put the carburetor back in. Before I put that back in, I'm just going to hook the linkage back up. Alright. After you have the linkage in, you also want to check to make sure that everything works. Yep, it does. So, as you can see, the gasket right here is worn out. I should replace it. I don't have it now. I'm just going to put everything back together, and later on I'll just go and get a new gasket and replace it later on. But for now I'm just going to reconnect the gas. Right there. And also, it's also sometimes a good idea to even replace the hose. But again, I don't have that, so I'm not going to replace that for now. Okay, so that's back on. So next I'm going to put on the air filter, and my air filter is fairly new, so I'm not going to replace that. It's not catching up. I see what's wrong. Alright, so that's back on. Let's see if it works. I'm going to pump it 3 times right there. Prime it.